15 of our studying the Faeries oracle. And we've got the Faun and Losgunna and the Bright Mother. Now, I've read for the Losgunna before, so today I will just read from the book on the Faun and the Bright Mother. Card 35, the Faun. Understanding the nature of nature, natural wisdom, natural magic. The merry, irrepressible faun, dancing in the garden, frolicking in the woods, playing in the meadows, sings out, "Come, dance with me." It's he who knows the secrets of nature. He knows where the robin's nestlings are hidden, where the mice lurk, who lives down the rabbit burrow, where the pixies like to dance. He teaches us to understand, appreciate, and express the part of ourselves that dances in the moonlight with the fairies, sings to the dawn stars with the birds, and hums with the blossoming flowers. This is also the part of us that plants seeds with a loving pat that says, "Bless you," and grow, and provides healing energy for doing just that. No fuss, no bother, just intention and natural human magic. Natural magic is simple. We are all full of it. And the more we are true to our nature, the more we have access to our own magic. When we are caught up in believing in limitations imposed by ourselves or our culture, we inhibit the flowing of energy, which is the melody of ecstasy's song of the cosmos as it sweeps through us. Opening ourselves back up to that song can be a long and complex business once we have closed down in on some way. It requires a great deal of thought and self-observation, and perhaps also the help of others in the form of formal therapy or simple friendship. However, the process of opening is made easier and more gentle if we allow Mother Nature and our own natural magic to help. Spending time in our gardens, our parks, or our forests and open spaces helps us to reconnect, but so does growing herbs and flowers and scented geraniums in pots on our windowsills. So does looking at the stars, observing the state of the sky, and listening to the wind. It helps if we simply observe the natural processes and changes around us. Mother Nature is always up to something. No natural place is the same for 2 moments in a row. Life is about process, not stasis. We are processes, not things. We constantly change even when we resist, even when we think we're stuck. "Come with me," says the faun, tugging our hand. It certainly is futile to struggle against the flow of the universe, so we might as well dance with him. Stuckness is an illusion. The faun says, "Dance with me and it will all come right." And do you know? He's right. At least many of the blocks in ourselves and our lives will come right much more quickly if we reconnect with him, opening our hearts to him and Mother Nature. They too are filled with magic, just like us. Starter reading. Natural magic is happening. When things flow almost effortlessly, that is a sign that natural magic is at work. Enjoy it. A very important part of natural magic is simply allowing the energy to flow through us. This means both giving and receiving freely. Let the energy flow. Don't push it. Don't try to control it. Just dance with it. Trust it. And remember to keep returning to the source for inspiration and to keep your heart filled with light. In the reverse, this situation and probably the people involved have become bogged down in murky energy and need a breath of wild, fresh air blown through them. Organize a picnic or go for walks in the park or the country with any others involved, and invite the fairies to come along and help you harmonize the atmosphere. If you can't do that, give the other people a gift of potted plants, preferably with flowers. Come back to your natural self. Be aware of the cycles of sun and moon, the ever changing, flowing balance of Mama Nature. Live in harmony with that. Exercise appropriately. Eat well. Clear the toxins of civilized living from your system. Go out and speak to Lady Moon as often as you can. And smile back at Father's Son. Card number 16, the Bright Mother. Creativity, nurturing, productivity, intimacy, sheltering. She is the bright mother of us all and knows that all life is a miracle. The bright mother is constantly amazed at its perfection in imperfection. She rejoices in its being, sorrows for its growing pains, and exults in its successes. This great lady is both Earth Mother and the full bright moon, pregnant with the future of all growing things. She feeds us and provides us with air, water, and shelter in an amazingly complex world. She sees to it that we are challenged enough to grow, but not so much as to be overwhelmed. If we want more challenges than she provides, we have to give them to ourselves. The Bright Mother is the guardian of family life, and she creates and holds a nurturing environment for us all. She is the garden where vegetable, fruits, and herbs grow. Thus she sees and holds the mysteries in ordinary processes of daily life. The bees making honey, the cream turning to butter, the birth of the baby and its growth, the blossoming or the blossom turning to fruit, and the wheat ripening. This lady has loving patience for natural processes, however slow. Her commitment to us is for life, her eternal life, not our ephemeral in the flesh life. She is present in all of our deep and committed relationships, facilitating, nurturing, loving, creativity, and giving. She fosters within us the kind of security that gives us the inner stability we need to explore and adventure out in the world and within our own psyches. She reminds us that there are times when we must put others first because their need is so great that in doing so, we must not lose sight of our own needs and nurturing. One online group member sees her keeping an eye on things, making sure that we all do what we need to do. To another, she says, "You know me by the joy in your heart and the help in your head. You can have it all. All you have to do is ask." For a third, the key word about her is able. Able to carry, able to care, able to nurture and enjoy. One last thing. People tend to project their own experiences with mother and mothering on her. Sometimes this helps us to see her with more clarity, but often it creates muddle. Not all mothers are good and wise. The Bright Mother is. Each time we perform a compassionate act of nurturing, we become more like the Bright Mother, learning unconditional giving. Starter reading. When the Bright Mother is present in a reading, she speaks of a time of fertility, creativity, and nurturing of ourselves or of others. She might indicate marriage or the birth of a child or a deepening of any kind of a relationship. She also speaks of giving one's all to life, not holding back. She is like a cornucopia, a pouring forth of abundance. This may be a time to put the needs of others first, take care of yourself later. Patience may be needed for the process being discussed. Consider what you have. Acknowledge the people and things in your life, the good, the bad, and indifferent. This consideration is not to judge, approve, or reject, but merely to recognize what is present in your life. These are your present fulfillments, the things you have created for yourself, drawing upon the power of unity and singers, or not, as the case may be. Once you have looked clearly at what is present in your life, you may want to ask yourself what you want to change. On the reverse, these ideas apply to men as well as women. They can even apply to institutions such as churches, governments, businesses, charities, and social groups. When we are blocking the Bright Mother's energy in our lives, we have difficulty giving or receiving nurturing. This may manifest itself physically as well as emotionally. It could mean physical problems such as digestive or eating disorders, or emotional difficulties with giving care or receiving care from others. We may also be unclear about our emotional boundaries. When her energy is twisted, we see the smother mother who refuses to let those within her care grow up and become independent, crippling them in their adult life. Or perhaps the warped energy becomes the martyr mother who sacrifices everything for you, whether you want it or not, and then expects you to sacrifice everything for her forever. If we find in ourselves tendencies to do these things, we need to change both our habits and our deep programming, which may require professional help. At worst, the Bright Mother's energy becomes a fire of destruction, creating burnout where there should be nurturing. This happens when we give until we are exhausted and don't take time to nurture ourselves or allow others to do so. Rage or cruelty directed at those who rightfully depend upon us also falls into this extreme category.